Hello. So I am going to walk you through what the IV-C-DV chart looks like, and then we're going to take a look at a sample experiment. All right. So let's say that we want to design an experiment where we test the effect of fertilizer on the growth of plants. Our independent variable then is the one that we're going to change. So in this case, we'll be testing the growth of, or sorry, the amount of fertilizer. And let's say in this case, what we want to do is list out our levels. So let's say in this case, we're just going to go by drops. So we would have 0 drops, 2 drops, 4 drops, and 6 drops of fertilizer. Plants with no fertilizer are going to be our control. So that's the 0 drops. That's what we will compare our results to. So then again, if we're testing the effect of the amount of fertilizer on the growth of plants, then that means our dependent variable is going to be the results. And so that will be the growth of the plants. We may also include our unit here. So you may say we're going to record this in inches or centimeters. Because this is a science class, my preference is that you will use the metric system. So centimeters, meters, that kind of thing. Now, remember that your constants are the things that won't change. So in this experiment, we're testing the effects of fertilizer on the growth of plants. So think for just a moment, what are some things that you would need to keep the same to make sure that it's the fertilizer that's affecting your plant growth? So some things you might have thought of would be amount of water, type of soil, amount of soil, type of plant, and type of planter. These are all things that if they changed in the experiment, you couldn't guarantee that it was the fertilizer that affected the plant growth. So we would want to keep all of these factors constant or the same. A few more there for you. So here is our setup. We've got the same amount of water. We've got the same temperature, the same planter, the same plant, the same amount of light. And then we have one with no fertilizer, one with 2 drops, one with 4 drops, and one with 6 drops of our fertilizer. So what do we call this group that gets no fertilizer? Remember that the one that we're going to compare all of our results to is called our control. So then these plants that are getting the varied levels of fertilizer are called our experimental group. What do we call these? We have sunlight, we have planter, we have temperature, we have amount of water, we have type of plant. Remember, these are the things that are not changing during the experiment. So these are our constants. A lot of people get constant and control mixed up, so be careful. So here's our experiment. We have our plant with 0 drops and it grew 7 inches. Our plant with 2 drops of fertilizer grew 9 inches. Our plant with 4 drops of fertilizer grew 13 inches. And our plant with 6 drops of fertilizer, let's see. Whoa! So this plant grew a whopping 29 inches, obviously a little exaggerated for the sake of this experiment. So what is this? What we observe here could be called our results, our response, our effects, But all of this, the growth of the plant, is our dependent variable. So what if we want to test the type of soil instead of fertilizer? What would we change about this IV DVC chart? The type of soil then becomes the independent variable, and we may move fertilizer over here to the constants because that's something that we can't change if we change this experiment.